Caught me there, unaware. Welcome to another Today's Decay, where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. May 25th edition, all the live long day. And whatever happened today? In 1899, Boris Artabashev was born, who was a Russian illustrator and painter who very often embraced humans as mechanisms, as like machines. While as a philosophy, I suppose this is not too far off from early futurism. I feel like he doesn't belong in that world because he's painting in a much different era. One of his illustrations looks a lot like this. This is not an original Boris Artabashev. It is an original painting, though, and it is by, which Neutzel is it? Albert Neutzel? Charles Neutzel? One of the Neutzels. I think it's Albert Neutzel, who was the original. They were father and son. If you don't know your Neutzels. Neutzel, the artist, was the original painter of the first handful of painted Famous Monsters magazine covers. Eventually, within the first couple of years, that mantle gets taken over by Basil Gogos. But early on, it's Neutzel all the way. And he had a really good collaboration with Forrest J. Ackerman, the creator of Famous Monsters magazine. And so Forey had him recreate some of his favorite illustrations to be displayed at the Acker Mansion, which is a lot like my place in more ways than one. These both actually are original Neutzels that hung in Forey Ackerman's Acker Mansion in certainly the 60s, perhaps the 50s. Yeah, and when Forey would give tours of his place, he would call out these various pieces of artwork, including, as featured here. Here is Forrest J. Ackerman with a relatively young Anton LaVey in the 1960s, where you can see over Forey's head there is that original painting that now hangs here in my place. So Forey would very often say, when giving a tour of the Acker Mansion, "Shake the hand that shook the hand of Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi." And in the process, you as the person getting the tour are like connected to history, right? So by way of these videos, you are connected to history by way of Albert Neutzel to Boris Artabashev to Forey Ackerman to Anton LaVey. I give you this forbidden ancient knowledge. We were all part of the same chain dating back to the pyramids or so. Maybe the ziggurats, even older. Anyway, what else? Charles Hornig, born today, 1916, which I just so happen to have the Fantasy Fan collection here, lovingly put together by Lance Thingmaker many years ago. This Charles Hornig, who was born in the Bronx, I believe, was a teenager when he created the first ever fanzine, and it was called the Fantasy Fan. And Lance put this collection together, reproducing the entire run of the Fantasy Fan collection, which was September 1933 to February 1935. And this is great. Here's a picture of Charles Hornig himself. Love it. Yeah, it is absolutely, 2010 was when this was made. Time flies. We must be having fun, huh? Yeah, so this is a collection of the entire series, and it's really fascinating. And again, this all goes back to Forrest J. Ackerman, Forey is also like a teenager at the time of this publication, and in the letters column in the back of each fanzine issue, became like a conversation club between like strange and unusual and alienated fans of science fiction, horror, and fantasy, where they got to actually have a place to communicate, because it's not like you had friends in town to discuss what you loved, which was, you know, like Dracula and H.G. Wells and Jules Verne and such. So this is where you could have these conversations about what you enjoy, whether it was stuff published in the last episode or whatever. And in these back pages, again, Charles Hornig's in high school when he's publishing this, so it's not like he has any professional editing chops yet. He lets publish a bunch of back and forth articles that become called Boiling Point, between a teenage Forrest J. Ackerman and fully adult H.P. Lovecraft, who else? Clark Ashton Smith, and Robert E. Howard. Why am I blanking? Slow this morning, afternoon, whatever day or time it is. May 25th, all day. So it becomes these full-on adults ganging up on a teenage Forey Ackerman about how like pedantic he's being, that I think this story didn't belong to be published in Amazing Wonder Stories because it doesn't fit these categories. It should have been Weird Tales or this or whatever. And they're just like, shut up, kid. You're being obnoxious. And like, it's all on public display. This back and forth raging between adults, professional in quotes, and a just wide-eyed fan who's a teenager. This just goes on and on for years in the letters columns of Fantasy Fan, and it is a fascinating window into the time that I totally suggest. It's available in a couple of other ways. I've seen Boiling Point, the like just collected exchanges they've had in like more modern fanzines or more easily accessible things. But either way, it's a fascinating glimpse, and I love that Charles Hornig did it, even though if he was more professional, probably wouldn't have. Well done, well done. What else? The film The Thin Man premiered 1934 with one Bill Powell and Myrna Loy. So nice to come home to. That was the tagline to Myrna Loy, with Asta the dog. This whole series, it's lovely. It brings joy to my life, and I hope it does to you. On the day it premiered, 1934, Johnny Powers, born today, 1938. Long blonde hair himself, not really, but you know the song, and plenty other rockabilly dance floor crowders, and well, that's it, dance floor crowders. Sir Ian McKellen, born today, 1939. Classic. Frank Oz, born today, 1944. Also, where would we be without Frank Oz? I don't know. Always a good day to visit the Museum of Moving Image. Been there plenty of times, shaped my life, starting as like a freshman in high school, and I continue in that route forever. Who else? What else? Charlie Harper, the UK subs, born today, 1944, born a rocker, die a rocker, but no time soon, please, Charlie. The film The Body Snatcher premiered in 1945. This is one of my favorite films. It really is after the high point of Boris Karloff's career, but should be considered as one of his best. Maybe that's entirely because of Val Lewton and his work on this picture, but Karloff is great in it. Lugosi, supporting role, unfortunately, but still, it's a film that delivers the shivers. What else? Taff Falco, born today in 1945 as well. I love the Panther Burns. I was lucky enough to DJ for them at TVI not all that long ago, and he was just rolling on the floor like he was not born in 1945. It was fantastic. I never want to miss another Phantom Court show again. This is living. All for it. What else? The film Hair Raising Hair premiered today, 1946. This, of course, has that Peter Lorre-esque Mad Doctor character in it, and includes the line, Jesus, I didn't know Leopold could dance. that was then used at the very end of the Meteors in Heaven record. Why? I don't know, but I love it. Okay, what else? Alan Troutman, born today, 1955. That's the Tar Man from Return of the Living Dead. I met everybody was still alive, cast and crew reunion, I don't know, early 2000s or so, when I was like always going to horror conventions. And now I don't like standing in one line to wait in another line to get into a room packed full of people. But I wouldn't say no, but that doesn't sound great. What does sound great is in 1979 the film Alien premiered, and the world was never the same again, ever. So that's May 25th. I mean, I've given you more than enough instruction to fill your whole day several times over. Do with that as thou wilt. Till tomorrow, goodbye.